So most dance studios do one recital a year at the end of the year. Some maybe do two, one in the winter, one in the spring. I've always really liked to do a big production with set pieces and props and fun music and a story.
What goes into a Wehawken production? So many details. 1,000,000 pounds of glitter, a lot of glue, a lot of sewing needles, a lot of thread.
Bringing together that many people for tech, to rig the theater, to hang the backdrops, to paint them, to paint the set pieces, to put them together.
A lot of practice and a lot of effort, a lot of time, blood, sweat, tears, it all goes into it.
We practice and practice and practice for a long time.
Every Sunday leading up to the show, we would have 8-hour-long rehearsal days where you just come in and out, and everybody would be sitting at the front of the studio practicing, and everybody's sitting up there cheering each other on. And
this is hours upon hours, hundreds upon thousands of hours that people are putting in behind the scenes with their little element.
All your hard work is leading up to when the curtain opens. And in that moment, I'm scared. And I'm very nervous, but when that curtain opens and I'm on stage, I feel like all of that preparation was worth it.
Weehawken Dance was founded in 2007, a few years after the organization was founded, largely because we found out that there was a new teacher in the community that was living in the community that was capable of teaching dance classes for kids. And so the board approached her about offering a couple of dance classes through the Wehawken Creative Arts Program. So that's how Weehawken Dance was born.
So I started the Wehawken Dance program with 12 students that summer, and then decided if I was going to teach in the fall that I would do a Nutcracker with the kids. We did that show with about 50 students and pulled the whole thing together in about 4 weeks.
And our productions initially were at the Wright Opera House in Uray, where we'd have all the kids in a very, very tiny, crowded backstage area or in a lower level of the Wright Opera House, and we were transporting them up and down stairs. And as the program grew, it had to accommodate more and more kids, and that's when we sort of went into the Montrose Pavilion.
So I always felt like growing up, the show was the big exciting thing, especially having a mom who is a costumer that always worked backstage. She was always so excited about the shows and the productions and theater shows I was in as a kid. And so I pulled all of that together to make our shows as spectacular as possible.
When you have a person who has the skill set, you should take advantage of that. And Natasha has been, nothing short of magical with this program, and having sort of a full vision of how we're going to interweave a ballet class for a 2.5-year-old into a solo performance of an 18-year-old who's on point, and weaving the storyline and the music to all make sense, using young and old dancers who have very limited time working together on scene.
So everything they're supposed to be learning, they are learning, but in a really fun way that culminates in this amazing production that's made just for them. I choreograph the show specifically for their skill set. I make sure that the costumes look great on everybody in the class, and that's the goals for us.
So I started dancing with Wehawken when I was about 8 years old. I remember I was a really shy, awkward kid. I would always hide behind my mom wherever we went, and I started taking a tap class, and I was like, oh, I really like this. This is really fun. And then I remember at our first show, I saw the jazz dancers on stage, and I was like, I want to do that. So I started taking jazz classes, and I loved that.
When I first started dancing, I only took about one jazz class. Through time, and as I got older, I started adding on more classes to my schedule, and I started finding different things that I like about different types of dancing. So I added ballet, and then company and jazz, and then hip hop, and that's when I found a love for all dance types.
One of the first shows, actually, he was super young, was Jungle Book. And I remember just being floored at that. He was having so much fun. He seemed comfortable in his skin.
That was like my first lead show. I felt like a star at that point.
I think my most memorable performance was the first lead I ever got. That's when I really started to, find my confidence as a dancer and as a person, and I was fully, finally able to, act on stage and be that stage presence, and I was really able to come out of my shell, and it just unlocked a whole new world for me.
I think in the beginning it was just a really fun activity to do with friends that I loved after school. And as I evolved as a dancer, I realized I was like, wow, I'm not too shabby at dancing.
I love watching him dance. It's one of my favorite things on this planet.
During some of the performances, I had the opportunity to kind of lead some of the other younger kids on stage, and I got to learn the dance with them and go to their classes and be with them, and it became my favorite thing to do. And I wanted to help create that passion in them that I had in me, and I wanted to share that.
I think Wehawken is the beginning for me. I think that's a perfect way to describe it.
I get very excited for him. The fact that he's going to New York and following his dream, it's pretty exciting.
It's the beginning of something that is going to be big one day. It was the perfect start for me as a kid, but now I'm moving past it, but I will never forget it. I'll always remember where I came from, and that was Ridgeway, Colorado, dancing at Wehawken.
Well, I think Weehawken Dance is about family. It's about community.
We live in a time where people don't necessarily have a great sense of community. They're very individualistic, and this brings people together in a different way.
We're all one big family. It's like a second home. Everyone's really close, and I think it's a great place to be surrounded by.
The people involved in the program love this program a lot, and we all know that when we're producing these shows and we're doing these shows, there's pure magic on that stage, and everybody's really proud of the product. It's pretty incredible that we get done what we're able to get done on such a shoestring budget.
We really probably couldn't do the shows the way we did them without my parents supporting us with the sets and costumes.
This program was built much in thanks to Natasha's family. Her mother and her father, always backstage. Her dad was building the set pieces.
My mom would decorate costumes and sew costumes. She pretty much made all the leads' costumes for at least the first decade of the program.
The idea was, if we own these costumes and we recycle these costumes, then it really makes the program really accessible.
It's really a labor of love to create what we do. It would be much easier for us if we just had everybody take home their own costumes, pay for everything, and just did a simple recital, but I just want to create a magical experience for everyone and have it be affordable.
The want and desire to have every kid dance, because dance is about being inclusive. There's no right or wrong in dance. That said, the performances are top-notch.
From day one, this program at its core and at its center part is about promoting the love of dance.
I think it has longer lasting impact than just to do a recital one time when you're a kid. I'd rather create people who don't just want to go to dance class and support the arts, they want to be a part of the art.
Wehawken has made me who I am today.
Coming back to it now, I can really see how, Wehawken has impacted everybody and how it plays such a big part. Just watching the graduating seniors this year and how emotional they got, it was really rewarding to see. And just kind of, I was a part of something so special, and I'm gonna remember that forever.